Welcome, everybody. Today we are doing tapping on getting unstuck. So, of course, what we do during these tap and talk sessions is we just tap. So, if you are familiar with EFT tapping, then just follow along. If you're not familiar with EFT tapping, then just follow along. So, there's good reason for just doing tapping. We will do some targeted tapping during this practice. And the main focus today is, as I said, about getting unstuck. So we have all experienced being stuck at some point in our lives, and we have the power to get unstuck by our choices, by our decisions, by recognizing why we're stuck, addressing why we're stuck. And that could be through personal development. It could be through release techniques like tapping. It could be through creating a strategic action plan that helps you to get unstuck. Maybe it's uncertainty that's keeping you unstuck, and that's because you don't have a great plan. And we're going to walk through all of that today and identify what specifically is keeping you stuck so you can then get unstuck, because you can't get unstuck unless you really know what's keeping you stuck and addressing it. So, what is it in your life, or what area of your life are you feeling stuck in? Identify it. It could be relationships, it could be health, it could be weight, it could be career, it could be finances, it could be making decisions in your business. Where are you currently feeling stuck? And if you're feeling stuck in several areas, then focus on one. What is the most pressing area that you are feeling stuck at this particular point in time? So identify the area. Now, notice patterns of behavior around that particular area of your life. Just notice them. Don't criticize them. Don't judge them. This is a no shame space right here. Okay. There's enough shame that we're all carrying. We do not need anymore. Okay. So just identify patterns of behavior. Is there a lack of focus that could be contributing? I'm not saying it's causing, but contributing to your stuckness. Is there a lack of organization? Is there a lack of planning? Is there a lack of knowledge? Is there a lack of understanding of what the real problem is? Is there a lack of structure? Is there an inability to decide? Maybe it's a failure to implement. You know what you need to do and you're just procrastinating. Maybe there's uncertainty there. Really identify the patterns of behavior and then look at the emotions that are driving that behavior. So I get it. I am squishing a day-long process or workshop into a half-hour online podcast. However, you can take these questions away and you can work through them in your own time. So if you're watching live, then you can always come back, or you can just simply take down these questions. And then it is your self-awareness. Gosh, self-awareness is one of the most powerful skills that you will develop, because as you are able to not overanalyze, not criticize, not judge, but as you pay attention to how you're feeling, how you're behaving, how you're reacting or responding to certain things, what is unfolding, and then asking, wait a minute, what got me here? Why did I react this way? Why am I feeling this way? Now, this can become obsessive. We don't want to do that. But a heightened sense of awareness about how you're showing up, about your state of being, then gives you the power and the ability to release, eliminate, change the cause of your state of being, and it gives you the power to transform your state of being, to shift into a new state of being. You can shift your state of being in an instant, and your state of being, it directly impacts your frequency and vibration. It directly impacts your decisions. It directly impacts how you show up and ultimately your results. So being able to be aware, more aware in your life of what your state of being is, and then having the tools to be able to shift your state of being consciously, deliberately, that's life mastery. That is literally life mastery. So think about it. States of being can change instantaneously. And there are many impacts and things that happen in our lives that can influence our state of being. So allow me just a little grace to speak about this for a moment, because it is important. So just imagine that you're feeling super happy, like you're super duper happy. Life's sweet, things are going well, your finances are good, your business is great, your family's great, everything's great. And you're feeling that. You're feeling the state of being that is wrapped around that and the result of that. And then you get a phone call. And somebody on the other end of that phone tells you that a loved one who you care about very deeply has just been in an accident. And it's not looking good. They're at the hospital. They're in a critical condition. How quickly does your state shift? You've just gone from everything's sweet, everything's rosy, to fear, anxiety, stress, sadness, maybe even a sense of panic. The central nervous system is suddenly flooded and overwhelmed with the stress hormones, cortisol. And you end up in fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn. The 4 states of reactivity in a situation like that. Now, that is normal and natural. That happens. It's our amygdala. That sort of runs the show in that kind of situation. And how you choose to respond after that is how quickly you get your state back under control. Now flip it. You're feeling down. Nothing's going right. You're looking at your bank account going, oh my God, I just can't anymore. Or you're going to a job that you just hate. Have you ever experienced that? No, I did. Oh, ugh. And you just, like you wake up on Monday morning and, I had to go to that job. No. And you feel like crap. And then you get a phone call and somebody just tells you that you just won $1.5 million. How quickly does your state change in the opposite direction? Pretty quick, huh? So you can see how quickly your state can change depending on external circumstances. And they're pretty extreme circumstances, I get it. But they are to illustrate how quickly your state of being can change. Now, imagine that you are deliberately able to create mastery over your state of being. It doesn't mean you're never impacted or influenced by external situations and circumstances and sudden things that happen. Far from it. You're not a robot, and you're not expected to be a robot. But Tony Robbins is the master of this particular area of life mastery and being able to respond to life in a way that is appropriate and actually helps to influence the ultimate outcome. Potentially, you can't always influence the ultimate outcome. Sometimes the outcome is just the outcome. But this is where the awareness comes in. If you're not aware of your state of being, then how on earth can you develop a state of mastery over your state of being? Pardon me, sorry. So let's get back to the stuckness, shall we? I just wanted to really bring that home because your awareness is such an important part of this equation in being able to create transformation in your life. So, the first question is, what story are you telling yourself that is keeping you stuck? Not that you got stuck in the first place. What story are you telling yourself that is keeping you stuck? That is stealing your power from you? Remember, everything is a story. Everything is perception. Once you identify the story you are telling yourself, you then change the story. Now, the story's probably attached to something that happened in your past, and that's why we do EFT tapping, this weird tapping thing that we do, because it releases your emotional attachment to the past. Once you release your emotional attachment to the past, then you have more agency to take action to create change for your future. So, what story are you telling yourself that's keeping you stuck in whatever area you decided to focus on during this EFT tapping session, this tap and talk? So, the next question is, what identity have you adopted that is preventing you from owning your greatness? Let me say that again. What identity have you adopted that is preventing you from owning your greatness? This question is important because identity drives behavior and behavior drives results. So once you recognize that you have adopted an identity that is buying into the lie and deception of helplessness, hopelessness, powerlessness, that you're at the mercy of external circumstances, that you have no control over your life, over your future. Once you recognize that that is an identity that you have bought into, it's an identity belief. They are the I am and the I am not beliefs. So once you recognize what you've bought into, then what do? You tap it out. And then what's the opposite? You tap that in. Now, identity is your identity actually drives your behavior. So you can then say, well, this is the identity that I want to express in the world. This is what I want to believe about myself. This is how I want to behave in the world. And you identify the behaviors, the traits, the characteristics of the person who has that identity. And then you deliberately start to develop and express those traits, those characteristics, those behaviors, and you do that deliberately until they become a habit. Tapping is a great way to create a bridge. It's not the entire answer. You still need to deliberately choose to become the person you need to be, who makes better decisions and better choices, who takes different action, who transforms your life. You have the power and the ability to transform your life. And if you are stuck, then that's okay. Being stuck is okay for a certain short period of time. But if you remain stuck over a period of time, that is because you are choosing to remain stuck, because you're not choosing to do anything about getting unstuck. So that's on you. So the next question is, what's the fear that's holding you back? What's the fear that's holding you back? I do apologize if you can hear some noise in the background. We've got a whole lot of council workers at the front this morning who are doing a bit of road work and cleaning up the side of the road. So that if you can hear that buzzing in the background, then that's what you're hearing. My apologies. So, what fear is holding you back? What are you really afraid of? What are you really afraid of? Identify it, face it. Do you realize that a big part of disarming the power that the fear has over you is just to name it, identify it, speak it out loud? Because a lot of the time you speak it out loud and you sit with it and you actually think, is this reasonable? Like the fact that I am allowing this to hold me as a captive to this fear, to this doubt. Is that reasonable? Is it appropriate? Is it even relevant now? Because these fears are developed mostly in the very early ages of your life, mostly before the age of 7 or up to the age of 7. And then they're reinforced after that. So, of course, there are some fears that are developed by traumas that we have and things that happen to us. But the ones that are the most impactful in our lives are the ones that are adopted from a very early age. So, is it appropriate? You're not that little young person anymore. Is that fear even still relevant? And is allowing that fear to run the show and stop you from showing up and owning your greatness and being the best and most powerful version of you and creating the life of your dreams? Is that what you want for your future? Okay, so next question. What's slowing you down, standing in the way, and stopping you from getting unstuck? What's slowing you down? So ask it this way. What's slowing me down, standing in the way, and stopping me from getting unstuck? Now, you can sit with this question or these questions for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and you will continue to get realizations, aha moments, awarenesses, breakthroughs. Now, once you have that knowledge, you can go to work, you can tap, you can use this technique that we are doing right now. So if you're writing, which I hope you are, then you can tap with one hand and write with one. Because the more you tap, the more you calm the central nervous system, the more you're able to take control of your emotional state, the more power and agency you have over your life. What limiting belief is stopping you from taking the action that you need to take? What limiting belief is causing you to procrastinate? What fear is causing you to procrastinate? Now, all of these questions are relatively similar, but because they're asked in a slightly different way, they will yield different answers. So you can choose one or two or all of them. And just the self-discovery work alone is completely transformational. And it's important that we really go through and identify the multiple fears and the things that hold us back. So there's basically 3 basic blocks. It's not safe. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. They're the 3 main blocks. Now, if we break that down a little bit further, we've got 7 primary fears. That is the fear of change, the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of loss, the fear of judgment, criticism, humiliation, the fear of I'm not good enough, and the fear of negative consequences. something bad happening. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to get it wrong. So, and we've all got a cocktail of these in relation to multiple areas of our life. We're all a work in progress. I'm doing this work all the time. I always iterate this. I am such a work in progress. I am always doing this work. I'm always finding more things to release. And that can become problematic if that's all you're doing. So there's people within the industry, they just get obsessed with, oh, I've got to clear myself, I've got to fix myself. No, you are not broken. You do not need to be fixed. The work is done simultaneously with taking action toward achieving the new life, achieving your goal, transforming out of the stuckness that you're in into the motion that you want to get into, and making progress toward whatever life it is that you want to live, because anything is possible. Now, another block is the stuck emotions that are trapped within our field, because our field is in constant communication with universal source, energy, the energy field that is out there, that is completely and totally connected to us. We are an extension of source energy. And within our field, if we have messed up energy, so if we have stuck anger, sadness, grief, regret, disappointment, shame, guilt, all the things, if that's stuck in our energy field, then that's communicating to source, to the universe. And that will be reflected back to you. So this is why we need to clean up our energy field. We need to actually clear out these limiting beliefs that are having tangible impacts on how we show up, the action that we take, the decisions that we make, and the results that we get. Now, another thing that we yearn for, that is hardwired into our brain, is the need and desire for love, acceptance, and approval. And that is because, as tribal beings not that long ago, to be outcast from the tribe meant certain death. So we needed to belong to the tribe for our very survival. So this is why our primitive brain, our amygdala, is hardwired to seek belonging, to being part of the tribe, to being accepted, to exhibiting the behaviors that are acceptable to the tribe, the rituals that we adopt to go, yep, I'm one of you. So that's another part of it. And another very, very powerful, impactful part of this is your level of self-love, self-belief, self-confidence, and self-worth. Imagine being a person who no longer needed external validation and approval and acceptance from certain people. We all need to belong somewhere, because we are community dwelling beings. And we all have a sense of just needing to belong for our own personal and psychological and emotional well-being. Life is better when it is lived and experienced in the presence of others. Just is. So that being said, if you are prioritizing external validation, acceptance, and approval, then you are going to alter your behavior to satisfy somebody else's opinions and judgments, and somebody else's opinions about how you should live your life and how you should be and what you should do. That's not a powerful way to live. Do you think? So when you feel and you're really anchored in your own self love, self belief, self confidence, self worth, and you prioritize that above external validation, acceptance, and approval, how powerful do you think that state of being is? You're no longer at the mercy or worried constantly about what are they going to think of me? What if I stuff it up? What if they judge and criticize me? What if they humiliate me? Imagine being the person who doesn't give a crap. Imagine being that person. And that doesn't mean that you don't care about others. It just means you don't care about what others think of you. It's a very empowered place to be. So we are almost done today. And I know we haven't done any targeted tapping today, but I've given you a lot to consider. And I've given you a lot of questions that you can ask to discover for yourself, where are you stuck? Actually, we will do some targeted tapping before we finish because you've probably already unearthed a lot of stuff and we can tap through that. And you can use the words that you have written down or the things that you have identified as we tap. So there's just another series of questions that I want to ask you before I do the targeted tapping. So in order to get unstuck, you're going to need to let go of something that isn't serving you. Maybe it's something that you're reluctant to let go of, even though it's not serving you. So what are you willing to release? What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to sacrifice? Transformation requires sacrifice. Change requires sacrifice. Actually, did I mention that in the list of fears? I think I did. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, the uncertainty in the unknown. What do you stand for? What are your values, morals, and ethics? And what standards are you choosing to hold yourself to? Are you prepared to hold yourself to a higher standard? Okay, so let's do some targeted tapping before we close it out today. The first thing I want you to do, as you're just tapping with me at the moment, just think about that place that you're stuck, the area of your life that you feel stuck, just not moving forward. Maybe you don't know how to move forward. Maybe you don't know what to do. And that's okay. Be with that. I just don't know how to get unstuck. And just breathe into that. Just breathe into the stuckness. Sometimes, it's a case of your nervous system regulation. The stuckness is being impacted and influenced by a dysregulation in your nervous system. How do you regulate your nervous system? Hello? Tapping, breath work, meditation, any exercise that helps you to reclaim your energy, your thought process, and helps you to get centered. So just sit with the stuckness. Don't fight it. Don't judge it. Don't want to make it go away. Just sit with it. Just breathe into it. Okay. You remember that you can't fight what is, because whatever you resist persists. So lean into it instead. Just lean into the stuckness. Don't fight it. Lean into it. Lean into it. Lean into it. At some point, it will yield. If you stop resisting it, the stuckness will yield. You will see a path forward. Start where you're at. Use what you have. Do what you can. a course of action will reveal itself one way or t'other. So start by tapping on the side of the hand, and let's finish off with a targeted tapping today. Even though I feel stuck and I don't know how to move forward, I deeply and completely love and accept all of me. Even though I feel stuck and paralyzed and I keep procrastinating, I deeply and completely love and accept all of me. Even though I feel really stuck and I don't know how to move forward, and it's frustrating and disappointing, I just want to get unstuck. I deeply and completely love and accept who I am and how I feel right now. Okay, tapping through the points, starting with the inside of the eye. I feel so stuck. Going round and round in circles. It's frustrating being stuck. It's exasperating being stuck. It's maddening. I feel so frustrated. I feel lost because I don't know how to get unstuck. This stuck feeling. I choose to relax and allow myself to breathe. I choose to release all resistance in this moment. Something has hijacked my central nervous system. Something has hijacked my brain and kept me in this loop. So to get unstuck, I just need to identify what that is. Because I have the power in this situation. I have the power to get unstuck. I transmute, transform, and transcend this stuck energy. I transmute, transform, and transcend this stuck feeling. I transmute, transform, and transcend this stuckness. I transmute, transform, and transcend whatever is keeping me stuck. I transmute, transform, and transcend this state of being stuck. I destroy, uncreate, and delete feeling stuck. I destroy, uncreate, and delete this feeling of stuckness. I destroy, uncreate, and delete whatever is keeping me stuck. I choose to know I hold all the power. I choose to reclaim my power to get unstuck. I choose to reclaim my power to stop procrastinating. I choose to reclaim my power to release this stuckness. I choose to uncover why I'm stuck. I choose to face the fear and name the fear. And then I choose to transmute, transform, and transcend that fear. I transmute, transform, and transcend the limiting belief that's keeping me stuck. Because nothing has power over me unless I give my power away to it. And I am choosing to take my power back. I'm choosing to make decisions that get me unstuck. I'm choosing to make better choices so I'm no longer stuck. I'm choosing to take one small action that will prove that I'm not stuck. Stuckness is a choice. So I'm choosing to get unstuck. And I refuse to allow myself to be stuck any longer. And I'm making powerful decisions and choices that help me to move forward now. To get unstuck now. I refuse to tolerate being stuck any longer. I am the powerful one in this relationship. And I refuse to give my power away to whatever is keeping me stuck. And I'm taking my power back and getting unstuck now. Okay, deep breath. Another deep breath. While you were echoing my tapping, did you notice the power in those final statements, the conviction in those final statements? That is a state of being. When you show up in that kind of state, resolute, with conviction, refusing to accept and tolerate whatever is holding you back, whatever is keeping you stuck, you will be able to move whatever it is very, very quickly. Do not submit to the things that are keeping you held back any longer. Now, coming this Friday, I'm actually holding a free wealth breakthrough experience. So what you can do is, the link is already in the description of this tapping video, and I will put it in the pinned comment at the top after we are finished today. And you can go and register for that for free. It is the free wealth breakthrough coaching experience. So you can go and check out the page. You'll find out all the information there. If you have enjoyed this, if you've gotten value out of it, then do me a favor, like and subscribe and comment below and let me know how this landed for you. And take everything that I've shared with you today and do something with it. Knowledge is not power until you act upon it. But knowledge can be incredibly powerful and give you everything that you need to transform your life starting right now. So I love you loads. I do hope you've enjoyed this session today. I will see you hopefully in the Wealth Breakthrough experience on Friday, and I will be doing another tapping in a couple of days' time right on this channel. Ciao for now.